So in this tutorial, guys, we're going to create our first gusset. So this has got a series of holes for our rivets and our members and our other gussets. So we're going to be using a little bit of maths in this and a little bit of trigonometry. So we are going to start off by drawing where our rivets are going to go in our gusset. Now, you know from our website that a Warren Truss bridge, the angle between our members is 60 degrees. So to do that, we're actually going to first draw the circle, and then so to do that, what we're going to first do is put some construction lines in and then create an array. So to do that, click construction and then line, and from our origin, which is the center of our screen just there with that little circle, click and go off to your left, and I want you to type in 11 millimeters, then hit enter. So now we can zoom in so we can see that line a little bit better. Go and select a center point circle, left mouse click, and then go and click on the end of this construction line you've just drawn. So left click, drag it out, left click again, and then type in 2.4. Hit enter. So to begin with, that's what we've got. We've got our first rivet, and now we're going to make an array that goes around like this. So there's an easy way to do this. All we need to do is we come up to the top here where these little linear pattern squares are, click the drop down arrow next to it and go circular pattern. So if you hover above, remember it will tell you exactly how to do this step. So we're going to click that, we're going to click our circle, and that brings our pattern up. So I'll zoom out a little bit. Now to move your screen like this, you hold in the jog wheel and the shift button on reorientate. So what we need to do is we need to actually put in and change our variables here. So at the moment, if we were to leave it there, that gives us a 0. So this is 0, 45, and then 90. We want it to go 0, 60, and then 90. So to do that, firstly, we're going to change this to only 2 circles are getting created. So change that from 3 to 2, hit enter. And as you can see, we've only got 2 circles here now. And I'm just going to drag that back until it's at 60. Once we're there, we're just going to click off, and that has created our first point. The next, we're just going to repeat that, but we're just going to make sure we get one on the exact same arc, but at 90 degrees. So again, click circle pattern, circular pattern, click the bottom left circle there, change this to 2, so double click, left click that is, type in 2, click enter, and then drag this little arrow to 90, as you can see here. Once you're done, click off it. So as you can see, we've got our 3 circles, and now we can delete these little lines. So left click and then delete. We don't need these anymore. So we don't need the construction line there and there, and we don't need these dimensions either. So I'm just clicking them with my left mouse button and then pushing delete. Alright, so from here, what we're going to be doing is creating the rest of the gusset, which is the outer shape. Now this doesn't really matter too much about how accurate you are, because we can always fix it up later once we see if there's any problems. So to start with, what we're going to do is just put some construction lines in. So first thing is I'm going to select construction, select line, come down from our origin 6 mil, and then I'm going to now start drawing some solid lines. So I hit escape, I then select my line tool again, and I want to come out to the left 15 millimeters. So once there, we can now just draw the rest of it. So line tool, we want to go vertically, and this is going to be 15 as well, so click and then just type in 15, and then we are going to then just put a center line in, so we got our height. So from here straight up, and I'm going to put in 21, and then I'm going to come across 5, so I've gone up 21, up 15 on the other side, and now we can just draw a line. Doesn't matter about accuracy at this point, we're just drawing across to make a solid. So what we're going to do now is, just to make this a bit cleaner, is actually put some constraints in. So up here we've got a thing that's called perpendicular, so I'm going to click that, and that's 90 degrees, so I'm going to click this line here and this line here, and that just made that joint 90 degrees, so it's a bit cleaner. The next stage is we're actually going to put in a rectangle down the base here. So to do that, we're going to need to put some construction lines in. So select your line tool, construction. From our corner here, we're going to come up 1 millimeter. So I just zoomed in on my mouse, type in 1, and there's our first line. We're going to come across, and when you can see those two little lines down the bottom right hand corner of where my mouse is, that means this line is now running parallel to that yellow one. So we're going to come across 6, and now all we need to do is draw our rectangle. So up the top here, corner rectangle, we want to select that. We're going to snap onto this corner, drag it up, and then it automatically brings up the numbers, so I don't need to click or anything. I'm just going to type in 4, and then the other side is going to be 3. So the key important thing with Onshape is you just don't click lots of things, otherwise it'll start selecting everything on you. If that happens, just zoom out until you can see the white space and then click off. That's one easy way to deselect everything. Alright, so there's one more rectangle we're going to put in, and that is just in the center. So this one we're going to use our construction lines again. So selecting construction, line, and then we're going to come up and place that at 4. So type in 4. We're going to come across 1.5. We're going to come up 4, and then back across 1.5. Now, if you've just done like I have, where it's on a different angle, remember you can just come up and use a constraint. So perpendicular, I want this line perpendicular to that, and now that's 90 degrees. Alright, so at this stage I've just zoomed out. I want to delete all of our dimensions because they're getting a bit messy. We don't need them at the moment, so we can go ahead and remove all of those. Just left click them and then delete on your keyboard. We need to flip this thing, or we need to mirror it. So up here you've got the button that says mirror. So we are going to select that. It says select a mirror line, so we want the vertical axis. We're going to click this, and then we're going to highlight our project. And now that is perfectly mirrored on the other side. Once we're done, what we need to do is rename this object. So where it says sketch, right next to that green tick there's a little pencil. Click that. We want to name it Gusset 1 sketch. So what we've done is we have renamed it Gusset 1 sketch, and before we go ahead and extrude, we want to actually delete all these extra lines. So that center line there, we're going to click it and select delete so we don't have any issues there. Get rid of this construction line. Now I've deleted those extra lines, and now what you can notice is the circles are grey and so are the rectangles, but this one isn't, and this is white as well. So what that's saying is when we actually hit extrude, just show you real quick, only the parts that are grey will actually extrude. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm just going to make sure we're editing our sketch, and I'm just going to fix that up. So one of the reasons may be the join between this center line might not be actually joint. So what we can do is we can actually go ahead and delete these lines by selecting them, the top and the bottom, and redrawing them as one solid. So select your line tool, go across both top and bottom, and what we need to do as well is just actually do the same for our base here, turn that into a solid rectangle. And now the entire thing is grey, which is what we want. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click extrude, change this to 3mm, rename it, gusset 1 extrude, and then there's our part. So last thing, we're just going to rename it, rename gusset 1,